There's a girl, you don't know where you stand with her, and somehow that one thing has taken up more space in your brain than everything else in your life combined. That's not a confidence problem. You've walked into the signal trap. You're collecting evidence for a verdict that doesn't exist yet. At some point in the last week, you've done at least one of the following. Reread her last message 11 times. Asked a mate. Asked a different mate in case the first one was just being kind. Type something into an AI you would never say out loud. Or checked her WhatsApp last seen to work out why she hasn't replied. None of it helped. You still don't know. And you won't, because the answer to how do I know if she likes me doesn't exist yet. It gets made. Through conversation, through time, through what actually happens between two people. Every signal you've collected is you searching for something that isn't there. And the trap is that the more you collect, the more certain you feel you're getting somewhere. You're not. You're just generating more things to argue about with yourself at 1 a.m. With most things, not knowing fixes itself when you look. You don't know what time the place closes. You check. Done. Your brain assumes this works the same way. It doesn't. There's no answer sitting somewhere waiting to be found. So you do what you always do when you don't know something. You go looking, and looking here makes it worse because it feels like effort, and effort usually produces progress. This is the one place it doesn't. There are 3 ways men do this. Each one feels like progress. She ended a message with a full stop. That's the whole situation. One full stop and you're 40 minutes deep into deciding whether she's annoyed, playing it cool, or simply learned to type properly at school. You go back through a week of messages looking for a pattern. Were there full stops before? Were there not? What changed? You're now doing forensic analysis on punctuation like a detective who has completely lost perspective on what counts as evidence. What the full stop tells you, she ended a sentence. That's it. Maximum effort, 0 progress. Then there's the AI. Because at least the AI will give you a proper answer. A calm, structured, well-organised answer. To a question it has absolutely no way of answering. It wasn't there. It doesn't know her. It doesn't know you. It's guessing in a confident font. You feel better for about 11 minutes. Then you rephrase the question and ask again. Then you try a different AI in case the first one was being too optimistic. You've spent the better part of an evening outsourcing your anxiety to a chatbot. And every answer it gives you is a guess dressed up in paragraphs. You've just outsourced the collecting. And then there's the surveillance. She hasn't replied to your message, but her WhatsApp says she was last seen 6 minutes ago, which means she's been on her phone, which means she's seen it, which means something. You're not sure what, but definitely something. So you check again. Last seen 8 minutes ago. You check again. Last seen 9 minutes ago. You have checked the same number 4 times in 3 minutes. The number keeps going up. A bit like your blood pressure. What her last seen tells you. She was on her phone at some point in the last 9 minutes. That's it. You've been conducting a live surveillance operation on someone you fancy, using an app you also use to tell your mum you're coming for dinner. There's a chart for this. There's always a chart. Along the bottom, signals collected. Up the side, certainty. You'd expect the line to go up. More signals, more certainty. For the first couple, it does. 1 message, you feel better. 2, better still. Then it flattens. She replied fast, or she replies fast to everyone. She used 3 exclamation marks, or she uses 3 exclamation marks when confirming a dentist appointment. For every piece of evidence, your brain generates an alternative explanation. Both are genuinely possible. So you don't end up with an answer. You end up with a list of possibilities that cancel each other out. And the list keeps growing. Past a certain point, collecting more signals doesn't get you closer. It just gives you more material for the midnight debate. According to a study I read, men spend an average of 47 minutes per day interpreting signals from someone they're interested in. I made that up, But the fact you didn't question it tells you something about how real it felt. A no on Saturday is one bad afternoon. The signal trap is every night for 3 months. You're not bad at reading signals. You could probably tell right now whether she's interested. Most of the time, you already know. The signals you're collecting aren't filling a gap in your understanding. They're filling a gap in your nerve. Because asking means finding out. And finding out means it might be no. And no doesn't just mean she's not interested. It means you put yourself out there and got it wrong. You misread the situation. You were the person who thought something was happening when it wasn't. That's what you're actually avoiding. Not rejection, exposure. The signal trap lets you avoid it indefinitely because there's always one more message to analyse, one more clue to decode, one more mate to ask. The trap never runs out of material. It just runs out of your evenings. Getting out is straightforward. You stop collecting signals and you create one instead. Not we should hang out sometime. That's not a plan. That's a noise. It means nothing, commits to nothing. And she'll say, yeah, definitely. And nothing will happen. And you'll be back checking her last seen by Thursday. Something specific. Are you free Saturday? That's the whole step. One specific question creates more information than 11 reads of her last message ever could. If she says yes, you have your answer. If she says no, but suggests another time, you have your answer. If she says no and leaves it there, you have your answer. 3 possible outcomes. All of them more useful than a full stop. At some point, you say the thing. Directly, not in a long message at midnight. Not by asking an AI to help you word it perfectly and then not sending it anyway. Something like, I really like spending time with you. You don't need a speech. You need one honest sentence and the willingness to find out. And yes, finding out means it might be no. But remember, a no on Saturday is one bad afternoon. The signal trap is every night for 3 months, plus the AI consultation, plus the forensic punctuation analysis, plus checking her last seen at midnight, like you're running a one-man investigation into whether someone fancies you. The answer was never in the signals. It was always one specific question away. There are men who seem to just know where they stand. They're not more perceptive than you. They haven't found a better system for reading signals. They've just worked out that the signals were never going to give them the answer. So they stopped looking for it there. From the outside, that looks like confidence. Most of the time, it's just someone who got tired of the midnight spiral before you did. How do I know if she likes me? You don't. Not from signals. You find out by asking. And the asking was always going to be quicker than the analysing. Anyway, I've just reread this script 11 times to check if it's good enough to post. Turns out, posting it is how you find out. If that helped, consider subscribing. Apparently, it tells YouTube something important.